All right, so get ready, because today we're diving into a story that's captivated people for like, what, thousands of years?
It really is a story for the ages.
We're talking about the Hindu myth of Sati and Shiva.
Ah, a classic.
And even if you're not a mythology buff or anything, trust me, this isn't just some dusty old tale.
No, not at all.
It's a love story with some really intense philosophy baked in.
Exactly.
We're talking love, sacrifice, cosmic forces, you name it.
And what I find fascinating is how it all still resonates, even today, you know?
Totally. So, listeners, you sent in some really interesting stuff about Sati and Shiva. Clearly, this myth has got your attention. So, to kick things off, let's meet our main players.
Okay, sounds good.
First up, we've got Sati. And she is one strong-willed woman. Seriously, the text you sent describe her as being drawn to Shiva from, a super young age.
Oh, yeah, completely captivated by him.
And Shiva, he's... Well, how do I put this?
It's a little unconventional.
That's one way to put it.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking about a god who hangs out in cremation grounds, covered in ashes, with a snake around his neck.
You're not kidding. Not your typical dreamboat.
Not exactly Prince Charming.
Look, that's what makes Sati so interesting, right?
Absolutely.
She sees past all that, the ashes, the tiger skin, all of it, and connects with something deeper in Shiva.
And don't forget, Shiva isn't just some random deity.
Oh, right.
He's like 1/3 of the supreme divine trinity in Hinduism.
Wow. Okay, big deal.
Huge. The god of destruction, yeah, but also liberation, the whole
Yeah.
cycle. So the fact that Sati's love pulls him out of his, cosmic solitude, that says a lot about her.
She must have been something else.
Powerful woman.
Okay, so we've got some serious sparks flying between these two.
Yeah.
But like any good love story, there's a catch.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
It's Sati's father, Daksha,
Ah, yes, Daksha. Always a source of conflict.
and Daksha. He's this powerful king, and he has got very different plans for his daughter.
He's not a fan of Shiva, is he?
Nope, not one bit. Sees him as this disruptive force. Definitely not husband material.
Which, in those times, a father choosing a husband for his daughter, that's how it works. So
Right.
for Sati to defy that, huge statement.
Oh yeah, total rebellion. Family drama central. Okay, so to make matters worse, Daksha throws this massive party, a yajna. And a yajna isn't just any party. It's a sacred fire ritual, like a huge display of power and piety.
Not the casual backyard barbecue.
Not even close. We're talking a who's who of the cosmos.
Yeah.
Gods, goddesses, important beings,
Everyone's there.
except Shiva.
And Sati.
Ooh, that's gotta sting.
Paid your diss.
In that culture, being excluded from a yajna, that was a direct insult. It meant something like, you are not welcome, I don't even recognize you.
Talk about a slap in the face.
Brutal.
And of course, Sati is devastated.
How could she not be?
She loves Shiva.
Yeah.
And to see him disrespected like that by her own father.
It's heartbreaking.
Totally. So, against Shiva's better judgment, she decides to confront her dad. She goes to the yajna, hoping to reason with him, make him see Shiva for the incredible being she knows he is.
Hoping for a change of heart.
Exactly. But things don't exactly go as planned.
Let me guess, Daksha doesn't back down.
Nope. If anything, he doubles down, humiliates Sati in front of everyone.
Oh no, poor Sati. I know, right? Talk about adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
So, fueled by grief and anger and this fierce love for Shiva, she makes a decision. A huge decision.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. What does she do?
She calls upon her own inner power, her Shakti, and throws herself into the sacrificial fire.
She what?
Yeah, it's intense.
That's a pretty extreme reaction.
It's a turning point in the story. And believe me, it gets even wilder from here. But we're going to put the pause there for now. Because Shiva, he's about to find out what happened. And let's just say, you do not want to be on the receiving end of his anger.
So, it's one thing to read about Shiva's rage.
Right.
But it's another thing to actually try and, wrap your head around the sheer power we're talking about here.
Yeah, this is no ordinary anger.
No, this is imagine a supernova, but channeled through, a being who embodies creation and destruction.
Intense.
It's huge. And the thing is, the texts you shared, they don't shy away from that intensity at all.
Yeah, it gets pretty vivid.
But they also make it clear that this isn't just blind fury,
There's more to it than that.
Oh, yeah. Remember, we are talking of the god who dances the universe into being, who represents deep compassion.
Right.
But when Sati, his other half, his love, when she chooses to end her life rather than endure this, public humiliation.
It's a betrayal on a fundamental level.
Exactly. A violation of the natural order.
Okay, so, what happens? What does this anger actually look like? Paint us a picture.
Well, some texts say the earth trembles, oceans churn, even the gods themselves, like, cower in fear.
Wow.
But there's also this, like, terrifying focus to it. Focus.
Yeah, like a laser.
Oh, okay.
So from one single lock of his hair, he creates Virabhadra. Virabhadra, this absolutely terrifying warrior being.
Oh, boy.
And he's got a mission, go to Daksha's yagna, and let's just say it doesn't end well for Daksha.
Okay, so we've got this warrior deity wreaking havoc, but there's a purpose to it, right? It's not all just, like, blind revenge.
Right. It's important to remember Daksha.
Okay, what about him?
He represents this, like, rigid adherence to social structures, even when they become harmful, you know?
Oh, yeah, I see.
So blinded by his own ego, his need to control, he can't even see the depth of their love.
Shiva and Sati's?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Shiva's rage, like, channeled through Virabhadra, it's like a force of correction.
Correction.
Yeah, like dismantling those outdated structures. It's about restoring balance, in a way. Interesting. So there's, like, a method to all of this.
Absolutely. And the symbolism here is pretty wild.
How so?
Well, remember how Daksha insulted Shiva's, unique sense of style?
Oh, yeah. How could I forget?
Well, part of Virabhadra's punishment for Daksha, replacing his head.
With goat's head?
Wait, a goat's head? Seriously?
Yep. Sounds bizarre. But goats, they're often associated with impulsivity, lack of awareness.
Okay.
So it's like the universe is forcing him to confront his own, like, blindness, his stubborn refusal to see beyond his limited perspective.
Okay, that's one way to learn a lesson.
Right. Tough
Yeah.
love, cosmic style.
So Shiva's anger, it's not random, it's part of this larger dance,
That's
right?
exactly. Creation and destruction, order and chaos. It's all connected.
And ultimately it leads to transformation. Exactly. But it's not just about Daksha. We can't forget about Sati.
Right. What happens to her?
Well, this is where we get into the whole idea of the divine feminine and masculine, which are kind of central to understanding this whole thing.
Okay, before we go any further, divine masculine and feminine, for those of us who aren't, like, mythology scholars.
Right. It's not just about gender,
Okay, good to know.
These are primal forces, archetypes, and they exist within all of us.
Got it. So how do Shiva and Sati embody those forces?
Good question. So Shiva is like the unmanifest, the boundless void, the stillness from which all creation emerges, like potential energy waiting to be activated. And Sati, she embodies Shakti, the dynamic, creative force of the universe, the dance of life itself.
So they need each other.
100%. You can't have creation without destruction, right?
Stillness without movement.
Masculine without feminine.
Two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. So Sati being reborn as Parvati, it's not just a sweet reunion. It represents this eternal dance of these forces.
The constant play of creation and dissolution that, like, fuels the universe.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So we've got cosmic forces, gods and goddesses, death, rebirth. I need a minute to process all this.
It's a lot to take in.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Gods and goddesses, creation, destruction, rebirth, even a goat head thrown in for good measure.
It's been a wild ride.
But now comes the fun part.
The fun part.
Well, at least I think so.
All right, I'm intrigued.
It's where we take these epic stories and connect them to, us, our lives today.
Okay, I see what you mean. Because it's one thing to appreciate these myths as stories.
Right.
But their real power is how they, like, shine a light on our own experiences.
Exactly. So no treasure or anything, but how do we even begin to bridge that gap? How do we take these grand cosmic themes, love, sacrifice, those primal masculine and feminine energies, and actually apply them to our everyday lives?
It starts with asking ourselves the right questions, I think.
Okay, like, give us an example.
Well, we talked about Shiva and Sati representing the divine masculine and feminine, right? Those primal forces in all of us.
Right.
So I'm curious, listener, where do you see those energies playing out in your own life?
Ooh, good one.
Are you drawn more to stillness, contemplation, or are you all about action, creation? What would it look like to, like, embrace both of those sides more fully?
I love that. It's not about putting ourselves in a box.
Right.
It's about recognizing those energies within us and how they show up in our relationships, our work, our creativity, everything.
Exactly. And think about Sati's devotion to Shiva. Now, I'm not saying anyone needs to go to those kinds of extremes.
Definitely not recommending self-immolation here.
Right. But it does make you think, what are you deeply passionate about? What lights you up inside? What are you willing to fight for, even when it's hard, even when people don't get it?
That's the heart of it, right? That unwavering commitment.
Exactly.
Okay, so we can't forget Shiva's whole destruction thing.
Oh, yeah. We can't leave that out.
Any life advice there that doesn't involve, unleashing a warrior deity?
Well, luckily, most of our problems don't require that level of intervention. But you're right. It's about transformation. What in your life is holding you back? What do you need to let go of to grow?
Deep.
And it doesn't have to be something huge. It could be a belief, a bad habit, even just an outdated way of thinking, like Shiva clearing the way.
Hitting the reset button.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about these myths. They give us a new perspective on our own lives, remind us that the stuff we struggle with, we're not alone. These are like timeless challenges. Humanity's been grappling with this stuff forever.
So true. And speaking of timeless, we talked about Sati being reborn as Parvati.
And reincarnation being a big theme across culture.
Exactly. So here's something to chew on. If you could choose to be reborn, what kind of mark would you want to leave on the world? What story would you want to tell with your life?
Now that is a question.
It's a big one.
Right.
But that's what these deep dives are all about. Exploring, questioning, diving deeper to these stories that resonate with us. And listeners, I hope this one resonated with you. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.